What's happening, everybody, and welcome back to Streamcast, the show on the internet. We watch the latest and greatest stuff on streaming services.
I don't have my t-shirt
on. Okay, sorry, pause. Go back, guys. Cut. Sarah, get in here.
Whatever this is, we'll do Star Wars, but it's good
Better
enough.
than white.
It's good enough.
What's happening, everybody, and welcome back to Streamcast, a show on the internet where we watch the latest and greatest stuff on streaming services with you guys. I'm one of your hosts, the one who's burdened with glorious purpose, Eddie, along with the god of mischief himself, Sheps. How's it going, bro?
It's going good because we did this one take, no
failures at all, right?
No,
Come on, we're professionals. We get everything done properly.
Yeah,
and
that's
boy,
us. That's us. Accurately describes us.
We are the flagship of the show of the FPL after all, so let's prove what we are.
It's true.
Bro, we're here.
We're
back watching more Disney Plus shows.
We are. It's Hylock.
It's high. Oh god,
I'm sorry.
Terrible.
I'll see myself out. I'm sorry.
Send him to the Time Variant Agency or prison, wherever the hell they take the Loki in this one.
I'm going to call it now, I swear to you. I literally have it here. I've got it somewhere. Hold on. Here we go. My very second thing. So we see that Loki's, it's 2012, right, in Endgame, wherever it is. Very next thing. Time Cops arrived. They reset the timeline with what looks like a time bomb. I'm calling it now. These guys are HYDRA. These guys.
Hold on a second. How did you get to that thought?
Well, they're the bad guys.
So not the thought of HYDRA.
They're not good guys.
Not the thought of HYDRA. When we started this show, I said, take him away to the TVA people. And you decided HYDRA is the moment to mention this now.
They don't imprison anyone. There's no prison. They kill everyone. Everyone. This is the thing. I'm calling it now. Every reset kills that timeline of people.
Guys,
so
it's already gone off the trolley, guys, so bear with us on this one. Yes, this is Streamcast, and we're going to be watching Loki.
Into my theory.
No, we're watching, guys, this is Streamcast.
Yes.
We're watching Loki here today, episode 1.
That's right.
A bit of a change in schedule that we're going to be doing here. We're going to
No, we announced this straight away. We never said that if you heard...
Never going to be able to say anything ever again.
This week was The Witcher, you heard it wrong. We never said that. That's on you. We planned this out perfectly. That finale episode of The Witcher is somewhere. You're just not finding it. It's not because we haven't uploaded it. And we finished The Witcher, and now we're on to Loki, exactly as planned, on time. This is the, what do they call it? The true timeline or whatever.
Sacred timeline.
The sacred timeline. We didn't mess up. Maybe you have.
So as I was saying, guys, a little bit of a change in schedule where we're going to be posting these videos now on a different day so we can stay relevant with everything that's... Oh, yeah! Fucking it doesn't wait for me to finish a sentence. We're going to be posting this now on Thursdays. The time for this first episode is a little bit earlier because of the whole E3 shit that's going on and stuff like that. But it should be around about 7 o'clock-ish, which will give enough time to record, send it over to James so he can upload it and stuff like that. But bear with us. But at least then you get the episode almost immediately after the episode airs on Disney Plus.
Yeah, you get to watch it and then watch us talk about it. Yeah.
The only thing you need to be wary of, though, is that because we're doing it the next day after the episode airs, you need to be hot with those replies and hot with those thoughts that you're going to send into patreon.com and Discord and everything like that, because we won't have a lot of time, obviously, to get all those things in. We have got a ton of people who have been great so far, and thank you so much for that. But yes, of course, as Shep said as well before, you guys missed the finale of The Witcher. It was great.
It was a good episode.
Everyone loved it.
Two-part, episode 7 and 8. Rolled into one.
Maybe there's something wrong with your sub box. Maybe it'll just pop up randomly in a couple weeks' time, whatever it is.
YouTube does that.
YouTube does that sometimes. So don't worry about that, though. Loki is what you're here for.
You are here for Loki. But before we get into that, this show, the flagship show on the FPN, as well as our content on both of our channels, is made possible by the incredible Super Bros over on patreon.com/conversations. New arms, guys. New mics. Hey, we're doing the interior decorating thing. Who make this whole thing possible? They keep the mics on, and the streaming going over here on. Hosted the show by Conversations on the Four Pillar Network.
Yeah, we don't like to even say their name. Those people who support us and keep everything going are Diogo Dildo, Isak the Ultimate Cumsock, Keralt of Rivia, aka Catsper the Friendly Patron, Record Friction, Jeremy Renner, that's right, an official Avenger, Martin Scorsese's Master H Barts 12, the Midget Alo from Smallville Sabine, the former freeloader Christian, Master Chief himself, Albiscori, Super Sus Ben Fryer, who's just a terrible defective. Oh, just get rid of him, get rid of him from the Sacred Timeline, that's what I say. The clone of Eddie. Star Wars Encyclopedia, Adam Sunling, and also the Witcher Encyclopedia, it turns out. Filthy FIFA Fanatic, Joe McCormack, My Juicy Left Nut, and Kevin, the #1 simp. Of Xbox. Thank you guys so much for keeping the lights and mics on the streaming services going here at Streamcast. So, guys,
let's just jump straight into it.
Let's jump right into it.
Nobody wants to watch, two dudes fricking around at the beginning, messing up, interrupting each other, getting the wrong intros.
Do you know, normally I would say we are terrible, but there are some people apparently that like us according to this Patreon list.
People with no taste.
No taste whatsoever. Anyway, we start off with Avengers Endgame scene.
That's right.
Where he is being apprehended, from Tony Stark's point of view.
Yes.
Of the events of Avengers 1.
Right. Yeah.
So it's a fucking...
Yeah.
Yeah, a time loop right here. So he's being arrested by the Avengers after that moment where everyone's like crowded over, Hawkeye's holding the bow back.
We see that iconic image a few times,
Exactly. He does the impression of Captain America.
Yeah, you're like, humorless.
We've got Loki under arrest. Make sure you're down in the lobby. Anyway, they're arresting him, and we also see Hulk raging out that he has to take the stairs down. They head downstairs. We have the moment where the Tesseract breaks free from the briefcase that they have and skids across the ground right in front of Loki's feet.
Yep.
And he grabs it and portals into Disney Plus.
Yep, that's how he does it.
That's the way I saw it when it happened. I was like, he's portal into Disney Plus. I see what's happening.
That's pretty much it.
And we then immediately cut to a portal in the sky that shoots a person out into a desert.
I feel like that's not the way portals normally work, innit? He gets rocketed into, is it like Mongolia?
Yeah, it says the
Gobi Desert.
Gobi Desert in Mongolia, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why it popped him out there. But anyway, he pops out and he crash lands in the desert.
Yeah.
A bit like Iron Man did in the first Iron Man movie with his first Iron Man suit.
I did actually get that vibe.
I was like, I don't want to do it.
I did get that vibe as well, I have to say, yeah.
What did you... Maybe we'll come back to that moment, but I had a feeling of what that was supposed to symbolize or something like that. But it only makes sense afterwards when we hear about other things that happen. Okay. So yeah, he pops up there. He's completely fine.
Yeah.
He's just been rocketed into the ground, which is,
I mean, he's Loki though.
Exactly.
He's like a literal god.
I think about 20 minutes ago, he survived a bashing from Hulk.
Right, exactly. So falling into the Gobi Desert's not that big of a deal.
He's just like, Mondays, am I right?
Right, Mondays. A few, like, nomads are there, and they're like, who are you? Because I guess they don't have TV.
Yeah.
And he starts his whole spiel again. I'm Loki, gotta be, bow before me.
He says it. First of all, he finds like a rock to stand on, he's above them, and it is like, I am Loki of Asgard, and I am burdened with glorious purpose. Who are you? Yeah, but they're saying in their own language, like we don't know who the fuck you are.
It's quite funny. And then, like, a door in air appears, and a very angry lady.
That's what I call her, actually, angry woman.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah,
basically comes out and has zero chill. And is like, you gotta come with us. She calls him a variant.
Yes.
Which we don't know what that means.
On behalf of the Variance Authority, I hereby arrest you for your crimes against the sacred timeline. But these are all just words right now.
Yeah, exactly.
No one knows what this means.
Like, I'm Loki. Like, no. And she time bitch slaps him.
With this, like, baton thing. And everything slows down. You're like, whoa, she slapped him into next week.
So I thought this was like one of those, like, oh my God, he's getting murked. But she's like, oh yeah, you're experiencing the slap in like 1/16th time, but all that pain is 100% real.
Inside, I like to imagine he's like, ah!
But that was quite interesting to see of him like having that moment where he's being slapped while she's just in normal time, slaps a collar on his neck.
Yeah.
Like one of those wristbands you used to get as a kid.
like that. No purpose, but it was just cool to do that.
It was cool. And then they take him prisoner.
They do take him prisoner.
They say to reset the timeline.
That's it. They say, okay, we've got the variant, reset the timeline, and they put down a thing that just looks like a grenade on the ground.
It looks like a time grenade, right?
With some weird like liquid inside it.
Yeah, it
like
starts
that.
doing that Thor Dark World vibe, you know, of like stuff bleeding into another thing.
Yeah.
I hate
the greatest movie ever.
I mean, when you got the assets, just reuse them, innit?
And you do see a moment as well, like when the bomb sort of goes off, it sort of like disintegrates everything around it. But again, you don't know what you're looking at yet. It's too early in the episode.
This is what I was getting at with them being like HYDRA, i.e. the bad guys, or just not as good as they're sort of made to be, which is, I don't think there's any like returning people to the proper timeline. I think they delete that entire new universe that's been created, deleted.
That's what it seems like.
Every single life gone.
That's what it seems like.
To the point where like when we meet Owen Wilson's character, which I'm so glad he's here.
He's so great.
He speaks to a little girl. Dead. You know, like these guys aren't. Everyone in a non-proper timeline thing.
Kind of We'll get more to that in a second when we get down the line, when we explain a bit more. So you say, reset the timeline. And Loki is taken to through that window portal thing, whatever, to a place that looks like really old.
It looks like the frickin' DMV, mate.
It does. It looks like DMV in like the 1950s.
Yes. Which is to say, pretty much any government building today.
Exactly, basically, yeah. Same technology, same everything, efficiency, all the same.
A guy takes the Tesseract off him?
Yeah.
What's his name? We do find his name later.
Whoa. God. Jesus Christ.
Oh,
sorry
about
that.
Put my thing on mute as well.
Yeah.
He has to hand over his stuff. The guy's like, oh, hey, cool. What's that? He's like, hey, that's the Tesseract.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, okay, cool.
Puts it in a drawer. Puts it in a drawer. He's fine like that. And the angry woman as well doesn't bother to sign no paperwork.
She's so angry.
So angry, like pushing him around. There's one time where he tries to escape and she like hits a button on a doodad. And then he zips back to her, tries it again, zips back. And he's like, the hell's going on? It's like, try to run again. Try.
He then goes through this series of like, she pushed.
Just before we get into that, there's one thing that I noticed in this bit.
Okay.
During the processing of that Tesseract or whatever, there's a scroll being processed on the side.
Oh, is that?
I think there's going to be a secret invasion time, maybe. We'll see what happens. Anyway, go ahead.
He starts going through all these like things. She pushes him into a cubicle, which has that Futurama Scanmatron bot in there.
Yes.
Which I assumed was gonna like we'd cut to outside and you'd hear the noise Loki violation noises, which I'm glad didn't happen. It just like disintegrates his clothes.
I love this because before he gets pushed in, he's like, "Do you know this? Cross me and there'll be deadly consequences."
Yeah.
She's just like, "Yeah, okay, whatever."
Yeah.
Pushes him in, and the robot, while he looks scary, he's got a happy face on, which makes it even more scary.
That's so sinister. Because also, I don't know if you noticed, but its smile glitches on one side for a bit.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Terrible.
And then he goes, the thing tries to like grab him for a second, and he's like, "Don't touch me. This is fine as Guardian leather."
Yeah.
And then it goes like, hold on, hold still. Everything gets disintegrated. Loki is ripped as hell.
Tom Hiddleston. So now I'm stuck because I was previously just simping Jensen Ackles because we got the release of what he looks like in The Boys as Soldier Boy or whatever.
Right.
That was my big simp. Now I have to.
Shit.
God damn it.
He just got fine shape. Right,
he is actually in very good shape.
Exactly.
And what's really cool is that he's an even better actor than he is in shape.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. We all know Tom Hiddleston's a very talented actor, but I don't know, seeing Loki do that kind of acting in this when it's been so many years since we've had anything from Loki was a real good reminder of just how talented he is and how much we love Loki.
Yeah, he really
I really
is
like
great.
this. I'm looking forward to this show a lot.
Me too. So good so far.
Then he drops through the floor.
Yeah, after he gets his clothes disintegrated, he drops through the floor and he lands in an area and there's just a guy there with a stack of paperwork. It's like, please sign this to acknowledge that this is everything that you've ever said.
What?
It's like, what?
This is ridiculous.
And then afterwards he gets it. He's like, not just going to say anything.
Yeah, also take this. You've read and accepted all of our terms and conditions.
Just go do that. And then he drops through the floor again.
Yeah.
And he's like,
I like this room a lot.
This room's quite funny. Do you want to say anything about it?
This is the dude with the guy who's like, please step through the thing. What happens? It's just to check that you're not a secret robot.
Yeah, he's like, please confirm that you are and always been an organic life form and not a robot that is in possession of what it not. And you are in possession of what many cultures call a soul. And he's like, wait, what? How would I know if I was a robot?
Do many people not know they're robots?
Exactly. And
he's like, so what happens if I do? Oh, well, it'll disintegrate you from the inside out. Well, what if I am a robot? How would I know?
It's like, it's okay. You're not a robot, you know. Everything's going to be fine. And I would be exactly the same.
Absolutely. But I actually want to take this one moment, because I think this is a theme that's going to come up throughout this show. And we see it again a few times throughout this episode, which is that, like, I think a lot of this show is going to deal with... so, like, WandaVision dealt with loss and stuff. Captain America dealt with, like... self-confidence and grief and things like that, like coming to terms with who you are. And I think this is going to deal with like what it means to be in control of your life and are your choices your own, right?
Okay.
And one of those things, the start of the show, is Loki actually, like, how would you know if you were a robot that didn't know you were a robot? You wouldn't know that, right?
Nah.
And this is that very first thing in a comedic way that sort of takes all of his decisions out of his own control, because he could be a robot and doesn't know it.
Yeah.
Like, how would you know if you didn't know you were... Like, how would you know? You wouldn't know. And he has to make that choice on his own.
Yeah.
And it's... Just like you said, I would be in that exact same boat. Well, I bleed? But if I was a robot designed to bleed...
Innit?
I wouldn't know. Oh, God, oh, God.
Oh, God.
But it turns out he's not a robot, and he isn't in possession of what some cultures would call a soul.
Yeah, what some cultures would call a soul. He jumps into the machine, and it takes like what looks like a picture, and the guy pulls out like a Polaroid, and he's like, what's that? It's like, it's your temporal aura or something like that. He's like, cool, no problem. Step forward, and they just sort of rush him forward.
Take a ticket.
Yeah, take a ticket to the first guy.
There's two of us.
Yeah, he's like... The first guy goes, I ain't taking a ticket. I'm going up and don't worry about it. And then the second guy, with Tom Hiddleston, comes through. He's like, take a ticket. It's like,
there's two of us. Take a ticket.
Take a ticket. So I'll fucking take a ticket. Jesus Christ.
See, this is the thing. Tom Hiddleston, while he is Loki, he is an ice giant, he is also fundamentally British.
Yes.
And understands...
Quintessentially.
That was more Italian, but...
Yeah, it's true, yeah.
Understands the value of taking the ticket and queuing in an orderly fashion, which saves his life.
Exactly. Do you know what? That probably would have pulled me out of it. I'm like, a British man will always take a ticket and form an orderly queue.
Even if there is even if he's the only one there.
These are the rules of queuing.
Also, because then you do that ironic thing of, like, you take ticket and you're like, yeah, oh, what?
It's like, number one, please. That's me. All right, here we go.
Yeah, exactly. And anyone that's English or British that says they wouldn't do that is a liar, and you know it's true. You know you would do that.
Americans right now, it's like,
they're
the
like,
fuck is up with these
guys?
guys? Walk up. Anyway, this is why the DMV is such a bad thing for you guys.
Right, exactly.
You don't have order and tickets.
Exactly.
Anyway, while he's on his way through the line,
he gets the Jurassic Park cartoon.
I love it because the way he's like, this is a mistake. I shouldn't be here.
You're probably saying, this is a mistake. I shouldn't be here right now.
That's like perfect.
I knew as soon as he said it, I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
You could just feel it. And I was like, I'm so glad they did it anyway.
Yep.
You know, it's one of those tropes that I wanted.
Exactly. And he gets the whole breakdown, essentially, of what the TVA is, why they're around, and why he's there. It's like, you are a variant. It's when you do certain things and you mess up the timeline. All these years ago, there was these guys called the what were they called again? The Timekeepers. Yeah. Who then sorted out all the madness of the multiverse and stuff like that.
They say that a variant. But yeah, they explain that the Timekeepers took all this chaos and put it on one sacred timeline. They call it a sacred timeline, so now we know what that means. Mm. And then it's explained that if a variant's allowed just to do whatever it wants, it would cause specifically, so they say, that could cause madness in the multiverse.
Yes. It causes a nexus event.
A nexus event, which would end up with madness in the multiverse. I feel like we've heard those two words, but in a different order somewhere. Anyway, and then that could cause a war, another war between universes, and that would be bad.
Yes,
that's no good.
Something they do mention when they're doing the cartoon that you're saying, the Jurassic Park cartoon.
Did you get Jurassic Park feel from that?
I did get it. Yeah, I did. They show this two groups of people going to war with each other, and based on some of the buildings in the background and things that we know, those two people could be the Kree and the Nova Corps that were fighting the way that Ronan was saying in Guardians of the Galaxy 1. I don't know if that's going to come back, but that's what it looked like, at least from the cartoons.
I didn't clock that.
To be fair, it could just be a random cartoon. They thought, let's just put these two people together. Nothing.
Ultimately, buildings all roughly have like a given shape. You can't.
These ones were like star shaped with things coming out of them. So I was like, oh, it looks like the Nova Corps.
Okay. I didn't clock that.
And the only war that's ever been mentioned in any of the movies is that one.
Yeah.
So I was like,
But this was more like a war between universes, is what they said, and timelines. I don't know, man.
That's what I got from it anyway. So anyway, the Timekeepers arrived and they created the Sacred Timeline, and they made this group of people, this agency, the TVA, so they can govern it all and then do their bidding wherever they decide. And then they come up with the cheesiest catchline ever: "For all time, always."
Yeah, it's that. Happy corporation loves and cares about you.
Yeah. Ding. That's what that is right there.
By the way, you get disintegrated.
And by the way, it's all HYDRA.
Oh, yeah, and that guy at the top. Where's your ticket? Hey, I tried to get a ticket. That guy up there wouldn't let me take.
The guy, seriously, he wouldn't let me take one. It was like, oh, it was something like that.
Yeah, okay. Bzz.
It just disintegrates him right there. And then Tom Hiddleston's like,
where's the ticket? Where's the ticket?
I got a ticket. I got it. Britishness pays off.
And then I feel like it cuts from here to like 15 something France.
1549 France. Yeah, that's right.
That's why I got here.
That's it.
And
bunch of dead guys.
It's Owen Wilson.
Wow. Do that because I think you did it well.
Wow.
That's it right there. I put him down because I couldn't remember his name. I put it down as Wedding Crashers guy because I love that movie.
I hate you so. That's a great movie, but I hate you so much.
Don't worry, the guys know that we have great ways of keeping names and stuff like that. Yeah. They know that we do great with the names.
By the way, if anybody was named in this show, I didn't catch it.
I had to, literally, the person has to come up multiple times, and then one time I turned on subtitles, and I was like, okay, that says its person's name right there, so that's how I know that person.
I know.
Mobius.
Oh, yeah.
That's his name.
That's right. Do you know what a Mobius strip is? It's one of these, it's like a weird infinite loop.
Oh, yeah.
So that's interesting that his name's Mobius. There you go. But because he's in the time force or whatever. I do remember that he was named, and I'm never remembering that. I'm just calling it now.
Honestly, it's gonna next episode. It's Owen Wilson, or next episode it's the Wedding Crashers guy. Right, so it's gonna be.
They did name that the guy that takes the Tesseract as well, but I don't know what it was.
Yeah,
I had that.
Oh, I do remember it because afterwards he asked what his name is. Is Casey?
That's it.
I just remember that scene right there. So what's your name?
Kill it this Streamcast.
We're on point, guys. We're becoming what you want us to be.
Right. It's 1549 France.
Yep.
And there's a bunch of corpses.
Yep.
But dudes in like suits from like say the 1970s or whatever.
Yeah.
And one guy in like Stormtrooper. Everybody else is in Stormtrooper stuff except Owen Wilson, who's in like his like I'm a bureaucrat suit. And the beige.
And with an epic moustache. Right there.
I mean, I feel like we should both trim down to Tashes now.
Do you know what we should? And if we see any more people with moustaches, I want to start a thing where we start ranking the moustaches in this show. In fact, let's make it over every show that we do. Ranking the moustaches for everything. Okay?
I'm down, yeah.
Right now, Owen Wilson right there.
Owen Wilson up top, for sure. Right well, obviously, Superman, but before the CG.
Right, that's it, yeah. Course. Superman before the CG first, then Owen Wilson. Okay,
there we go. So that's our ranking of Tashes so far.
We need to come up with a jingle for that. The Tashes of...
Well, we will come up with a jingle for that. But it's like the France in whenever.
Yes.
And I think they say, oh yeah, the stab wound's all consistent. It's him.
Yeah.
It's that super dangerous variant or whatever.
Yeah.
Owen Wilson's looking around and sees a little girl or a little kid. I can't tell if it's a girl.
I couldn't tell. I was like, boy, girl.
A little bit of me, like in my head canon, is I bet that's Joan of Arc, but I don't know when she's supposed to have existed because it's in France.
Okay.
Anywho, he goes and speaks to her and says, oh, excuse my friend here. He's an idiot. And it turns out they all speak every language that's on any one of the things, which is useful for them because the show is probably going to be jumping across like worlds and cultures and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And he says, who did this? And she points up to a pain of the devil.
He's like gives like a
the walking dude
draws like a stick around and goes tap it and then starts showing to like befriend the kid to show like, hey, I'm a good guy, I'm not going to hurt you, I'm just trying to who did this? And then the kid just turns over to a stained glass window, and it's Mephisto. I told you guys, he's back, boys. We got it. Eddie was right. Hashtag Eddie was right, guys.
All I'm saying is these dudes are dressed like Hydra. Tell me they're not. Tell me they're not.
No, seriously, genuinely, they look like Hydra.
They do.
A slightly more modern Hydra.
Right.
That's what they look like.
And
anyway,
he sort of goes to the thing. Yeah, we know it's him. I don't know why it comes up, but she shows him that the bad guy gave her chewing gum. She's blue teeth.
Yeah, he starts to smile, and then it's like blue teeth, and then it's like what's that? And then shows the little thing, and it's called Kablooey.
That sounds like it's real. I don't know.
I don't know what it means.
Maybe it's a real sponsor. I'm googling
the only
it.
Dumb thing is that there's a face in the corner. It's like a blue face, and I was like. Because I'm still hooked on WandaVision. In this
timeline, it's frickin' Mary Poppins' chewing gum. Sorry, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I'm sorry.
Maybe because I'm stuck in the WandaVision thing.
Yeah.
I thought it was Nightmare, the character Nightmare.
Okay.
And we do get a reference to Nightmare later. Yeah. Not Nightmare the character, but they mention Nightmare. Oh, that's different.
That's different.
And I was like, 2 words being mentioned in the same episode. Not exactly the biggest connection.
I mean, it's more than enough for us to go.
I was going to say, we've done it for less.
Yeah. I mean, I got HYDRA from a toaster. So
it's freaking HYDRA like to eat toast.
Right. And then facts.
Anyway.
Headcanon, I'm choosing that it's Yondu. So there you go. So Yondu's in whatever timeline, Yondu goes into the chewing gum kingpin.
There's Mary Poppins, y'all.
I'm Mary Poppins.
There is one thing. The horns, when he points towards the devil.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to come back to this later at the end. Remind me at the end of this episode.
I'm definitely forgetting.
We're probably both going to forget. Anyway, says, okay, all right. Cool. Apparently, they're coming to the timeline where the timeline's verging to the point where it's going to cause madness in the multiverse.
Yeah, it's irreversible.
We need to go now. Get ready to reset the timeline.
Yeah. Murder this child in the entire universe.
Exactly. Just do that. He probably doesn't want to live. Apparently, there's been 6 attacks like this week as well. So
yeah, they also say weirdly, I think the soldier dudes are called Minutemen.
Yes,
because it's a time thing.
They are.
But. Later on, they say this is like we've lost a bunch of teams this week or something. The angry lady says that.
Exactly. Tell them to wait outside, but just as they're about to leave to go into the portal to leave and reset the universe, one of the guys comes over and he goes, "Look what just came over the desk," and it's a folder with Loki's face and it's got apprehended written on it. And it's like, oh shit, they know about Loki. Then we cut to Loki's trial.
Yeah,
as a. Sequence Loki, L1103 Loki variant known as Loki Laufey's son. I'm like, they actually know his real name.
That's cool.
It's not Odin's son, it's Laufey's son.
Which actually I would, as like a fan of the MCU, I actually do have a problem with that, and I feel like Loki should have said it's Odin's son. I
would have objected. I'm like, actually, it's this.
Well, actually,
but they're looking at facts.
But also,
it don't matter what you want to call yourself, what you are.
Also, I just remembered myself. This is 2012 Loki. This isn't the Loki that bonds with Thor over the thing. So at the minute, he is Laufey's son.
Actually, does he?
Yeah, because we see it later on when he gets to see his future.
There is one. I had too many movies to fucking keep track of them. There was one movie where he says, No, in fact, in the beginning of Avengers, where he first appears through the portal and destroys the base of S.H.I.E.L.D., doesn't he pop out and say, I am burdened with glorious purpose, I, Loki, Odin's son?
I think he does, but at this point in Loki's life, if you go back to the Thor movies, he is, that's got to be a gift. He is, stop! I'm trying to focus.
Let me just get the mic out.
Like, he's still sort of set on destroying Odin, and becoming the ice giant king or whatever, right? And gaining his true, what he's owed and all that shit.
Yeah.
And it's not until the beginning of Thor Dark World where he bonds with Thor and Odin and really realizes that actually, he is Odin's son.
He accepts his way back.
Hela, whatever her name is the big bad and all that shit, that he really becomes Odin's son.
Yeah.
That they really were his parents. It doesn't matter that they're not related, you know?
I get that.
So, but at the time I was like, why didn't he correct them? But then he's Loki at the height of his like evil trajectory. you know?
Yeah.
So that's just one thing.
At the trial, the woman on the judge right there goes along, and we don't know her name, which never gets mentioned.
She doesn't.
It says, you are being charged of crimes against the sacred timeline, sequence 72089. How do you plead?
What?
That's the trial?
That's the trial. That's it.
All right, it's like your guilt has been determined.
Yeah,
It's just your plea. That's all that matters now.
I love how he goes. I know he says about
how do you plea? It's like, madam, God doesn't plea.
Right.
And it's like, are you guilty or are you not guilty? Guilty of being the god of mischief? Yes.
Doesn't he say guilty of this?
That right there. It's like, guilty of being the god of mischief? Yes. Guilty of being tired of this pantomime? Yes. Guilty of endangering the sacred timeline? Absolutely not. You've got the wrong guy. And he's like, look, you've been accused of blah, blah, blah. Are you guilty of this? I am guilty of nothing. Sorry, no. He goes, how are you being accused? I plead guilty of this. Just give me a second. Quiet.
Why isn't it working? And then all angry lady's like, he's trying to use his powers. Your magic powers won't work here.
I love how condescending she is in this moment of his weakness. He's clearly embarrassed. He's like, sorry, I can't do it with all of you watching. Just look away.
The thing is, like, for right now, we're sort of led to believe that it's like the collar and stuff. But the reality is, and later on we'll kind of find out that, like, on the scale of what is at stake here,
yeah.
While Loki is incredibly powerful, like at least in this realm of things, it's like the strongest ant walking into a Walmart.
Exactly.
Like it
nothing.
Right. It's like it totally different concepts of stuff, and it's not really on the cards.
It's cool that you chose ant because he uses that line where it's like, does an ant have a quarrel with a boot?
Right.
It's a perfect.
Right.
He's the ant now. Anyway, he gets judged. You're guilty to your sentence is to be reset. No, what, reset? Is that bad? Is that bad? It sounds bad. Is that what's going on here? And he gets dragged away, and just before he gets dragged away, Wedding Crashers guy approaches the bench.
I knew you were going to say that.
And he talks to the judge. They have a conversation.
I feel like there's a romance here, and I want to see this.
Something, right? It's like there's some sort of.
He says, "Oh, I'm always looking up to you. It's quite fitting."
Yeah,
something like that. And I'm like,
that.
I don't feel like that is some weird like, oh, we're in a position of power. I feel like this is Owen Wilson and her maybe had a thing. He's trying to date her, or they dated we went on a couple of dates, didn't really work out, but he wants it to continue. He feels like he didn't give his best go. I hope we see this date. I also like this character, Owen Wilson's character of Mobius.
Yeah,
and I want to see more of him.
He's a cool guy. It's Owen Wilson, man.
It's
He's
Owen
just
Wilson,
great.
and the thing is, like, he's playing this like sort of paperwork bureaucrat, but we see so much more of him in the interview with Loki, where I'm like, this guy isn't just a paper pusher, and I want to know more.
Yeah. So he approaches the bench, and the judge basically gets immediately that he wants to take Loki.
Right.
It's like, whatever you're thinking, it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
It's like, I know it probably is.
It probably is.
It's like, yeah, but I've got to do it. It's like, I've got a hunch. I'm trying to play a hunch.
Right.
It's like, okay, if he goes with you, it's your responsibility. Completely fine. It's like, I'm always looking up to you.
Yeah,
I feel like.
I'm Owen Wilson.
And he turns around. Wow. No.
I was going to work a wow in that.
This is what these episodes are going to be. A fight for us to say wow.
Right. To work in the best comedic timing for a wow.
I'm going to so do that. It's going to be great. Can we get a wow counter in the chat, please? Thank you very much.
We're going to have to add even more editing into this freaking thing.
Okay. Loki.
So he walks him out to like the interview room, and he even says like, we're gonna go for an interview, and he says, are you gonna kill me? No, just an interview, I swear. And as he's walking out, he sees the world, and I love this line. This is quite beautiful. He goes, I thought you said there was no magic here. And what's cool is that this is a guy who's spent his whole life living in Asgard. He knows all about the 9 realms and all this shit. Is functionally, compared to a human being, a god. And is amazed by this thing, and I really thought it was a very sweet, tender moment he was genuinely like had like childlike wonder. I thought he said there was no magic here.
Yeah,
I don't know. I thought it was cool.
It was really cool. I thought it was too.
I like that moment.
I was trying to get into the mindset of him. It's like he's known magic his whole life, and he's known
Asgard.
The greatness of Asgard was probably made by magic. There's no way they got people to make that. So you've made something almost equal to Asgard. But without magic?
Asgard is this.
Wow.
Asgard's wow. Asgard is this really weird thing because I think they even say at one point, technology so advanced would look like magic in one of the Thor movies.
Yes.
So Asgard has technology, but also the people in it can use magic.
Yeah.
So it's got this really. It developed in a very interesting way. That's why it can be like this floating island in space and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
But they also have technology, and to a guy that grew up like this. Even this is wondrous.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was really cool. And then they go to the interview him.
They do, yes, they do.
Are you sure you're not going to kill me? This really feels like a killing me kind of room.
It did.
This is a murder room.
This is a murder room right here. It's like, we're going to talk to you for a little bit, and then one guy's going to come up behind you with a prod and just shove it in the back of your neck.
Those things are called prunes, right? They say pruning. Is that right?
I don't know.
I'll have to watch it with the subtitles on, but I feel like at the end when Loki escapes, he goes like, "No pruning, don't prune anyone, just capture him."
Oh yeah. He does. They do say that when they're about to. It's like prune on sight or something. Like that. It's like, no, we need him alive. He's useful to us.
Yeah.
Yes, that is right. That is right. Anyway, yeah. So they sit down, and Loki breaks it down. Breaks down. He's like, so Honda's like, who are you guys? What is this place? And he's like, oh, and he basically takes the piss out of them. It's like, oh, so you guys have been tasked by 3 space lizards to protect the sacred timeline.
I do find that hilarious.
I was like, good point. It's pretty funny.
Tom Hiddleston's great, and his delivery is comedic genius. And I cannot wait to watch the buddy cop relationship with Owen Wilson, and because Owen Wilson, personally, I find hilarious.
Yeah, fucking great.
And Tom Hiddleston with like the guaranteed dry British wit of Loki. I cannot wait to see this develop.
It's going to be beautiful. And then Owen Wilson puts him down and he starts playing the videotapes of like why he wants to be king.
So there's a couple of things. It's established that Owen Wilson has this remote that it resets Loki. Yeah. Like there's no point even fighting. For right now at least we gotcha.
Yeah. And
he's like, look, what does he say? What will you do? If you return, what will you do?
Yeah.
What makes Loki tick?
And he's like, I'm going to continue what I started and I want to be king. It's like, king of what? King of Midgard. So king of Earth. Okay, all right. And he's like, and then what? It's like, and then the other 9 realms. And it's like, oh, so like space. Yeah. It's like, yeah, king of space. Oh, king of space. That's a good title. Right. It's a good title.
And then,
and then what? It's like, sort of like really breaks it down for him. It's like your end game isn't very good here. You want to be king, but then what? There's no other plan.
And he even says like, I don't know, just ruling, that seems a bit limited for a guy with your range.
Yeah, you have great range. I'm a huge fan. It's kind of limiting. Anyway, he tries to break it down to him, and he's like poking holes in his plan to get him to see that this isn't really going to work.
And he starts showing him what he calls his greatest hits.
Yes.
Which is, like, they watch everything up to him getting apprehended by the Avengers, and he goes, yeah, okay, I lost once. It's not a big deal.
Oh, yeah. It shows him the next one. So for a guy who's
What is it Loki says? It has true purpose and wants to rule. You sure do lose a lot.
Yeah, you sure do lose a lot. Yeah. And it's like, listen, and he gets a bit offended. But
so this is the thing. Loki keeps saying, my choices are my own.
Yeah.
And I think it's that whole thing of like destiny, which is that if you're supposed to do something, do you have free will? And Loki is one of the reasons Loki is a rule breaker is because he thinks he's now in control. He doesn't do something because he's told. He does something because it's what he chooses to do.
Yeah.
But if he has a destiny, and if it always happens like this in every single timeline, then nothing's his own choice.
Exactly.
And I feel like your choice as a concept is probably the thing we'll likely it'll be the theme for this show.
I think so too.
I hope, because it's an interesting question.
I definitely think they'll go down that road, because that's the whole implication when you introduce a governing force that governs outside of time. It's like, if they control everything, then what is choice? And there is no choice.
If every time
it's Matrix all over again,
right? And if every time you get off and do start making your own choices, that's deleted, then there is no free choice, no free will. It's interesting. It's an interesting concept.
So then they go and watch all the highlights of his failing so far.
Yeah.
And one little thing I just want to jump in here. Owen Wilson's character is drinking Josta Cola, which is actually a real Pepsi thing that was from back in the day, which makes me feel like, oh yeah, I'm just going to pop over to the 19 whatevers and I'm going to pick up this drink that I really love and come back.
At least it's not original Coke with cocaine in it.
Oh, no. Could you imagine Disney, but like, original Coke? This stuff was great.
All right. You think caffeine's good? You should try this stuff.
Oh, it was great from Colombia. Just come straight back. Okay. Anyway, and then they start watching, all the bad stuff that's going to happen in the future.
Yeah, like he shows.
It's really dark.
He shows, you're apprehended, blah blah, and then in this invasion, you do this. You should take the stairs to the left. You think you're sending them to Thor.
You get taken to Asgard, you get locked there and whatnot, and he shows a touching moment with his mother where he lashed out at her one time saying like, you're not my mother, and it's like, and she sees like the sadness on her face, and as you said, dark elves start to take over.
She says one thing which like, for someone that's so smart and understands everything, you understand yourself least of all, something like that, because she knows that she's his mum.
Exactly.
She knows that also she's a witch, which is established in other movies, but like, so she really knows the truth. And
then the dark elves that invade,
he says the dark elves
Asgard, and he goes, you think you're sending the dark elves to Thor,
but really, and shows the clip.
And then you see one of the dark elves, the big guy, with a knife hold to the back of Frigga, stabs her, and he sees Frigga die in front of him.
So first things first, denial, like this isn't real, but like he's crushed. You can see it, like Tom Hiddleston's acting so good because from here up to here, he's crushed. Yeah. But everything else, he's Loki. Like, this is a lie. Why are you showing me this? This is magic.
This is all
it's an illusion. I do this all the time. It's illusion.
It's like, this is a trick, a technique by the weak to instill fear in people.
Yeah.
It's like, stuff like that. Get out of here. I don't believe any of it. But it's all true.
We know it's true. Also, there's a scene where he throws the chair at Owen Wilson and goes to attack him. He resets him and he drops. He's like, the reset thing that resets you, not the furniture.
Yeah, the furniture I had to dodge, but you. Sorry, mate. There you go, right there. And then he cuts to something that he's done all the way in the past.
Yeah.
And it's him on a plane. An air hostess coming towards him.
Yeah.
And
This
he's got
is
some
fun.
cool glasses, great glasses. He looks sharp as hell in like, was it like 1950s or something like that? I'm not sure where it is. And he goes, drops a note on the air hostess's like tray. It's like, you might want to read that note.
I have a bomb.
Because I have a bomb. And there's like a case next to him.
I think the sort of the point of the scene, which is very cool, is that Loki is a few of these like old school, I forget what this guy's name is, but I actually know of the dude.
Do you want me to say it all and then you can say
go for it.
Then they land the plane, they go outside, you can see there's like an exchange of money happening with their hostess. Comes back in, it's just a bag of money, and they take the plane up into the air again. It's like Boeing 727, something like that. And he puts on a parachute, jumps out the back of the plane, and before he's jumping, he's like, Heimdall, Thor, I hope you guys are ready. Jumps out, and he gets sucked away by Heimdall's Rainbow Bridge. And Owen Wilson's like, you were DB Cooper.
That's it, DB Cooper.
It's like right there. And I was like, oh, that's such a cool way to do that, because never found DB Cooper with the money, and that's what goes there.
Right. Well, I lost a bet to Thor.
Yeah, that's
so it's quite funny. And then they kind of have this weird bonding moment. And I think this is where he falls over and Owen Wilson helps him up. And I instantly am like, he's stealing the remote. Yeah. There's no way Loki doesn't steal this remote.
I was straight away, I was like, that's a pickpocket move right there.
100%.
Done right there. Anyway, and then he gets called out by the angry woman.
Angry lady comes in and
angry lady is like, oh my god, you've got him here. What are you doing? Stuff like that. I only talk to you outside. Talk outside.
We lost another team.
And that moment, lost another team. So, all right, let me get back inside. Let me deal with Loki. I was like, okay, Loki, we're gonna have to wrap this up for. Loki
gone
from there. Loki then goes through some of the doors and he finds his way back to the guy, Casey, the guy that took the Tesseract from him. And he gets him behind one of the stalls and he's like, okay, what's your name? It's like, Casey. It's like, oh, Casey. Okay. Casey, cool.
Give me the Tesseract or I'm going to gut you like a fish. What's that?
What's a fish? It's like, what do you mean you don't know what a fish is? It's like, no,
well, I want to know what I'm being threatened with.
It's like, I just want to know what I'm being threatened with before I could comply. And it's like, just forget it. Death is what I'm going to do.
Painful death, yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. Comply.
I got it.
Yeah. Anyway, it goes, where is the Tesseract? It's like, it's here. Just opens up the drawer.
Pulls out the Tesseract, and then looks into the drawer.
And then he's like, how did you get these? These are Infinity Stones. And he's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we have
get
them
a
all
lot
over
of those.
the place.
Yeah, some guys use them as paperweights.
Paperweights
Like in the drawer is like a bunch, not only more than enough Infinity Stones, but a bunch of the same ones, and like he even picks them up, and it's like
this is a time stone. It's not so strange. There's a bunch of other things in there
Yeah.
as well. There was like a blade in there.
Yeah,
There was,
yeah.
I think I saw the very first arc reactor in there as
Yeah,
well,
there's a bunch
but
of
not
stuff in
glowing
there,
and
yeah.
more. Bunch of cool stuff that's
it
probably
kind of
very
looks like it's
important.
inert here as well.
Yeah, like the
Like
lights
it-
are very
yeah.
muted on them and whatnot. Like even the Infinity Stones, it looks like there's barely any life in it.
Right.
Where normally they're bright glowing things.
I choose to believe, because he then goes, "Is this the ultimate power in the universe?" Or something.
Yeah.
And he looks out there, and it's just like this 1950s really boring bureaucratic room. And I choose to believe that the reason the lights are muted isn't because they're not still powerful. It's that in comparison to where they are, inconsequential power.
I thought that could be a one way of looking at it as well, because that shows why they're like really muted
Yeah.
colors and whatnot. I thought it was because, like you said, like magic doesn't work in this area,
Or it's
but
been turned off or something.
then it would be off completely. But
Yeah, see, I feel
obviously.
like magic does work. It's just like trying to, like, imagine yelling in a tornado.
yeah,
Like, you're still making no one's going to hear it. I think that's how I choose to believe it or view it. That just like you're in a realm where like mortal universal power, like this thing governs all the universes. So something that's powerful in a universe doesn't work here, man.
not even
You
close.
know?
Yeah, and then he realizes that.
Yeah, he has like a crisis of identity of like everything. He realizing just how small of an insect he was in
Yeah.
comparison to like the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. An angry woman turns up.
Yes.
Sees him and is just about to smack the living crap out of him with the reset baton.
Yeah.
And he zips himself back up using the little device back
Yeah.
to the room that he
Yeah.
was in, and she misses and hits like a cart or something like that.
Deletes it all.
Almost deletes Casey. Bless fucking. Thank God we didn't get rid of
I
him.
really hope Casey comes back.
I hope he does as
Yeah.
well. I hope he does as well. And she gets like frustrated. She's like, "Oh, fucking missed him again."
Yeah.
We
You nearly
cut back to-
pruned me.
Exactly. We cut back to Loki.
Yeah.
And he's in the room by himself, and he's with the machine that showed him his future events.
Yeah.
And he decides to watch more. He decides to watch
Yeah.
more things of what's going to happen. He decides to see Frigga's death as well again to really get the emotions flowing. He sees what he's going to be doing in the future with Thor and his father, Odin. Sees him disappearing off into the distance.
Yeah.
Uh,
so that's a cute moment where like he sees that he and Thor do end up bonding, and that Odin, who he has all this pent up rage against, ultimately just sees him as an equal son, as a son, and loves him. And
Yeah.
he doesn't see him as an ice giant that he like stole and whatever. Loki's made up that story in his head.
Yeah,
You're Loki, you're my son.
exactly.
Like, and all it's that scene where he just says, "My son's, it's time for me to go," and he disappears. It's also a very beautiful moment in that movie, but
That great movie, Thor: Dark World. Yeah,
That's not Dark
sorry,
World.
that's Ragnarok.
That's
My
Ragnarok.
apologies.
The
Sorry,
actual-
the worst movie ever.
yeah, by far the worst Thor
By far.
movie. And it's a very sweet moment, and it makes it even more tender because I don't know, he buys the scene. Like he actually knows this is his future.
Yeah.
And he sees it, and I don't know, like he sells the scene so well. It's so good, and he fast forwards a bit more.
He fast forwards a bit more, and it's where he's on the ship just before Endgame starts.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
right at the beginning of Endgame.
Or is it the beginning of Endgame or the very end of Infinity War?
Beginning of Infinity War, that's what it is.
Beginning of Infinity War,
Beginning of
yeah,
Infinity
yeah,
War,
yeah.
Where he's on the ship, where Thing just gets the second stone, the space
Yeah.
stone, and he's
goes
just
to
said like
stab
he's
Thanos.
pledged his undying allegiance, and he's about to stab. He gets stopped. He's
Also,
like,
don't forget, he knows Thanos. This is where he got the army from, so he knows who he's dealing with here.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then he sees him be like strangled to death and his head snapped, and that's where the waterworks just come out after.
Yeah.
He's like, this is my legacy, or everything
Yeah.
I'm doing, everything
Yeah.
I'm going to is work towards just me dying here.
Yeah.
And he just breaks down. He's just on the floor. He's got the Tesseract in his hand, but it's fucking worthless at
Yeah,
this
it's
point.
nothing, yeah.
And he's just contemplating everything. And that's when Mobius arrives.
Yeah.
I used his real name. Are you proud of me? Mobius arrives and he says, "Look, I wanna help you. So there's no point in running. Everything's cool." And he's like, and he sees he's broken down. So he's
Yeah.
like, "All right, I'll disarm."
Yeah,
for a second."
he's given up.
He's defeated.
Yeah,
Right now. And he's like, "Did you try and use that to escape?" It's like,
Oh,
yes.
many times.
Many times, rather, many times. And it's like, but this place is far more formidable than I ever anticipated. It's like, shit. Anyway, they break it down and they sort of
Loki,
like get back
kind
to
of
a
like
common
this
ground.
pause, and Loki says, I don't like hurting people.
Yes.
It's like kind of the next thing he says, that I don't like hurting people. And Wilson's like, well, then why'd you do it? And he says that line.
He says, like, I do it because I have to.
Yeah.
It's like,
you have to?
For the pantomime, the portrayal of everything.
For the illusion. And then he says, it's, what's the thing he said earlier?
He says, it's a tactic, a trick by the weak, and he points at himself.
By the weak.
To instill fear.
Yeah.
It's like, shit.
So you do know yourself.
Damn.
Yeah.
Anyway, then Mobius says, look, the real reason why we're talking here, the real reason why we're doing everything is because I need your help.
Yeah.
It's like, you want the god of mischief to help. It's like, yes. I want you to help me hunt down this variant who's been attacking us.
Super dangerous variant.
Super dangerous variant. So why me? Why?
Well, because the variant we're hunting is you. Wow.
It's perfect. I love it. Wow. And then cut immediately to some more Minutemen popping out of a portal, and they're just in this random, like, dark...
Oklahoma, 1858.
That's it. That's it right there. And there's, like, a thing sticking in the ground.
Yeah, the lady goes up to it and tracks it, or like, time stamps it to, like, early third millennium.
Third millennium, right. Exactly. And then goes...
this is the thing. This is why I love this villain, because... it's a setup to make it look like it. They say, it's probably some time traveler come back to get oil before anybody knows what it is and make it rich.
And then make it rich, yeah.
Which is a great trap. Also, should we fire it? No, just prune it and let's go. I can't be asked with the paperwork.
Yeah, I can't be asked with the paperwork. This guy here. It's like, get ready to reset, guys.
They put the bomb down. Do they put the bomb down?
They do, yeah.
Yeah, they do.
They do. And
hold on. There's someone over there.
And there's just like a figure, like a hooded figure. And whatnot.
Yeah.
And boom, fire comes out.
They have a
like
lantern. They drop the lantern, yeah.
And then everything sort of lights up, and the Minutemen are like, oh shit, engulfed in flames straight away.
Engulfed in flames.
It's like, what are you wearing? Why is it so flammable, I should say? Right. What the hell is that all about? I think one of them starts to like claw his way away.
Their bomb.
Yeah. Try to like activate the bomb so they can reset the timeline, but then gets pulled away last second.
Yeah, very sinister.
And then this figure just picks up the bomb and takes it.
If we didn't, I really feel like these last two scenes should have been reversed.
Yeah?
I feel like that should have been just before we find out who it is, or maybe we shouldn't have found out this episode.
In case I missed something, in case I look down at my notes for a second, we don't see who the hooded figure is, right?
We don't, but we've been told that there's a person, which is Loki, killing Minutemen, so I assume this is Loki.
I don't think it is.
Okay.
I think this is misdirection. It's so close together, like you said, those two scenes. It's almost like they're going, this is the person! Guys? I'm winking. That means it's not.
It could be.
That's what I took it as.
It could be. Also, I hope we address this, because it was too small, but Loki says it's like some kind of nightmare. No, different department.
Yes.
Like, I do hope we get some nightmare. Even if Marvel or Disney never intend to introduce nightmare, I feel like at least seed it, because it's a part of the universe, part of the world. Like, let's get some illusion.
Alluding to, I think that's about right.
Yeah, like allude to Nightmare being in it. You got like Death is an actual character.
Yeah.
Like allude to these things. Another question, Death, which is, I guess in theory, like conceptually one of the most potent forces.
Yeah.
How does she rank up in terms of, like, do people in the time agency, do they die? I got the impression no.
Yeah, I got that impression as well.
I got the impression they don't
created
live.
Entities and that's that.
Yeah, that they don't have a life. They exist.
Yeah. That's how I got it as well.
So it's interesting to find out.
Very
anyway, look, we don't just watch this stuff on our own.
Two things I just want to mention just before we do that, before we get to you guys as well, because you're so important. You're not really, fuck off.
Wow.
I was going to say at the beginning,
you know
what I said about the Mephisto thing?
Yes, yeah.
So now that we know that it could potentially be Loki, the bad guy.
Well, no, we know that a little girl in France told us it was the devil, so it's Mephisto's confirmed.
There is one thing.
Yeah.
It's possible that it wasn't the devil that she saw, but she saw a character with horns.
Yeah, Loki in his armor.
I was going to say.
That's how I chose to believe
It's possible it's that.
Except if if there is misdirection about what is killing these things, and maybe it's like, maybe there's another Loki tracking it, or he's also a variant and gone off the rails, but he isn't the big bad.
Yeah.
Then, like, is it Loki that we found? Are we supposed to think we're smart, realizing that she saw Loki in his horned helmet?
Yeah.
But it isn't. It is Mephisto, or it is someone else, or Nightmare, or whatever. So now we have questions about who it could be, because, like I said, we don't see evil Loki.
Yeah. Which is Loki now, but not anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So there are a lot of questions. It'd be interesting. I gotta say personally, I'm really enjoying this show.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying Tom Hiddleston.
I love the aesthetic. It's really cool. Like, while you can go into the future and you can do full CG things like Asgard.
Terrible
like
idea for the most part.
This is really cool. Like, everything's just sort of like, yep, we're in the 60s, guys. We've got all these like clack buttons and things like that.
Right.
Wooden drawers. It's great.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and also, I feel like it helps the super costumes stand out more and look great if you go into time eras like WandaVision did.
Yeah.
I feel like that's why WandaVision, I know a lot of people didn't love it. We did.
We loved it, yeah.
That one of the reasons it worked so well is it was so nostalgic, and you could see all those cool things, and then jumping from that to Wanda in her suit at the end.
Yeah.
Well, with this, if we see Loki in a regular suit or in any of his armors in like a church, then they don't have to use all their budget on fake CG. They can go to locations, which I presume is cheaper.
Yeah.
And the what do you call that? Contrast is better.
Yeah.
Now, look, we don't watch these on our own.
Before we get into that,
Oh my God!
give me a second. So there's a couple of
I tried to
things going out
seamlessly
there.
transition.
Tried so badly. I'm the one ruining it, guys. You can all blame me in the comments. Fuck Eddie in the comments. The Judge Woman.
Yeah.
Apparently, her name is Ravonna Renslayer.
That's her real name, or that's the character's name?
Character's name.
Okay.
And apparently, she is a big deal in some comic stuff.
Okay.
So I thought I'd take a look into this stuff. Apparently, she falls in love with a character called Kang the Conqueror.
I know
Kang
that
the Conqueror, name. You know that name?
I feel like I do, but continue.
So, Kang the Conqueror has been confirmed to be in a future movie, the next Ant-Man movie.
Yeah.
He essentially is a time-traveling entity who... Spoiler alert, he's a bad guy. He wants to kill people and stuff like that. He wants to take over everything. He's a time entity. And he's somehow tied to those 3 time entities, the time keepers. Keepers, that's what they're called. And apparently he falls in love with this one Judge Woman.
Okay. Mobius is Kang, confirmed.
I don't know. But the people online are thinking that that thing that was found in the very last scene in the ground that's from the early third millennia?
Yeah.
Is somehow tying him to it because he's from that time era and that's him coming back, which would make him that bad guy at the end.
Maybe. That could be
Again,
cool.
this is all so loose. All they did was see something in the ground that's from his time area and they're like, it's him confirmed, So
there are other questions. Like, Loki doesn't really like power up.
Yeah.
Not like Thor does, for example, right? So Loki is sort of at a base level and it's just whatever he decides to do.
Yeah.
So why was 2012 this Loki so easy to apprehend and deal with, but the other one wasn't? Or what did the other one get that this one hasn't?
Yeah.
Because presumably one isn't much more powerful than the other.
The only thing I can think of, maybe he's been through the agency like he is now and he kind of knows their tricks and he's somehow managed to avoid it.
Yeah, maybe. Well, you think this is a Loki that they grabbed to give them help and then he... Yeah,
I think
maybe,
so.
maybe.
Because the thing is that sometimes when I'm... Also, Mobius basically explains some of the rules of the collar that he's wearing as well. It's like, doesn't affect the stuff around you, just you. And sort of like, why are you telling a prisoner this?
Yeah.
I feel like if you're holding a prisoner in a cell, it's like, well, the one thing that isn't secure in this thing is just
that window right there. So don't mess with that.
Don't mess with that, promise?
Because that would be an easy way out and we don't want you escaping.
And how many times does he get really close to him before he pulls out the doodad to press the button? It's like, so can he... If he managed to get some before they press the buttons, can he overpower them?
One other thing, though, that I did think about this, because it was a question I had, was if this is the second Loki they're dealing with, so like one-time variant Loki that they kind of don't delete straight away, and then our Loki, is that all of Loki's tricks they will now be kind of used to. Whereas the first time, he might well have got one over on them. Yeah. So maybe that's why this one was so easy to deal with and the other one wasn't.
That's a good one as well. That's possibly
That's kind of what I'm thinking, maybe.
Yeah. I'm super excited to see more of Loki, boy.
I hate that we're just kind of shilling Disney, but I've been really enjoying all of these shows.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, everyone knows that we are hardcore DC fans over here and stuff. Like, we love our Superman and Batman and,
it's true.
and Wonder Woman, all that stuff.
I feel like we need more Batman movies in the world. That's a known...
We need an origin story.
We do.
I don't know what happened to him, what happened to his parents. God damn it. Pearl necklaces. We need pearl necklaces.
I feel like you should definitely not search that.
Do not search that. If you do, said Sheps sent you. Okay. So
well, I mean, the incognito windows when you're home alone. Just a little bit of advice.
There you go. Yeah.
No, you can do this.
No seamless transition this time.
No.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. We are now transitioning over to our bros who have written in on both Discord and patreon.com/conversations, just like you guys can by clicking the links in the description.
Yeah. The Discord, of course, not the place to be. Only on Patreon where you can write.
We don't like the Discord people.
No,
not at all. No, we love all of you guys regardless.
We really do.
Kicking over to our boy, My Juicy Left Nut. He writes in and he says, "Hey, your juicy left nut reporting for duty. So Loki was awesome. Really looking forward to the rest of the season. I think this show is going to be big, if not bigger, than bigger factor in Doctor Strange 2 than WandaVision is. Just based off of the fact that they say Loki is a variant that caused all these problems, but they have TVA cartoon also said variants cause a multiverse war." I think you're right.
Yeah, and they actually specifically dropped the words madness and multiverse.
Nexus, multiverse, all these things that are key for
we've heard Nexus event in WandaVision.
Yep.
We know about the multiverse, and in the cartoon they say it would cause madness in the multiverse. Yeah. So it's multiverse and madness separated by one tiny little in.
Basically said the title.
Almost exactly. So yeah.
He says also, P.S. Did you guys notice how when Loki entered the TVA, the Tesseract dimmed down the same as the Infinity Stones seemed to be dimmed down too? We did notice that. And that was a very cool touch.
But I'll be honest with you, I was just thinking about him topless the whole time. So
yeah, it was
hard to focus.
When you put Tom Hiddleston topless so close to any other scene that's supposed to be important, you're gonna lose all interest in that scene.
It's true. The real importance was Tom Hiddleston shining. So.
We also have Cobra SS who wrote into Patreon just like you guys can.
Yeah.
And he says, "Prob's too late for this." No, it's actually not, bro.
No, it's not.
We're recording this midday on Thursday, so you're good. And not going to write an essay. Love the episode. Didn't disappoint at all. Might be sappy, but I like the softer side of Loki.
Yeah, me too, 100%.
That he does actually love his family, but strives to cover it up. It's really cool that way. They do that, right? It's a really good character element.
I think it's like Loki is dealing with a identity crisis of not actually being Odin's biological, whatever Asgardians are, son. That he is in fact from a different realm. Yeah, he's from a different realm. He's a different species, and
Jotunheim.
And also Jotunheim. That's right. And also they're historically enemies.
Yeah.
And then does that, if he's the king of Jotunheim, was that taken from him, or is his what's worth more, a throne or his family? And he's dealing with that a lot. And then we get to fast forward through that whole growth because he gets to see his life, and in the end, he is Loki, Odin's son, and he does love Thor, and Thor loves him. That's the key thing as well. Yeah. He always I feel like Thor is portrayed really well in the first two movies, in the stubborn Thor that just wants to fight and drink and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it plays tricks on Loki and things like that. And you get to see that Loki realizes actually Thor does love him, and because he says, I always looked up to you, but he's the younger brother, and I thought we would fight together forever. And you get to see that Loki experience those tender moments and his whole life, but in this one little scene, and become Infinity War Loki in the space of one.
He gets to jump over all of that and keep all their character.
Exactly, and get all the character development, which is cool.
He also says, being dismissive of the Infinity Stones was terrifyingly good, and love the retro future tech. Look forward to hearing what you guys think, even if I don't make it in time. Bro, you made it in time, it's good. One thing I did want to mention about the Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
Did you think that them showing the Infinity Stones being essentially worthless in this draw
was
them kind of saying as like movie director saying like, okay, the Infinity War saga was great, it's done, however, and these Infinity Stones aren't going to play a factor going forward.
The last bit, yes. The stuff what you said about Infinity War and Endgame, no.
Oh, as in, like, it was definitely a factor, but it was, that chapter is closed and we're moving now into something else.
Like, so I agree with you what you're saying about the Infinity Stones aren't going to play a factor. Yeah. Yes. But we're constantly hearing about the snap. It's not the freaking blip.
It's true.
Right? But we're constantly hearing about the snap. So I think they're always going to be referencing that happened.
Right.
But that, yeah, the Infinity Stone's no longer a problem. Nothing to deal with.
When you have something that powerful, it's hard to any story in the future. It's like, then this could, the Infinity Stone comes back, or this happens, or that could happen.
I felt that it was more to help speed along Loki's character growth. Right. Of realizing that, like, if all of the Infinity Stones are this useless here, like, to realize that he was this tiny, small cog in a huge machine, and that everything he's done ultimately, in comparison to this, minor, worthless, all that stuff, to immediately take him down to his lowest point, where he can be like completely honest about who he is, and then now find a cause, you know, because that sucks all the wind out of his sails. Then seeing his mum die, that he was loved by his father, he was loved by Thor, and that he eventually fought to try and save Thor's life against a guy he knew he had no chance with. Even without the Infinity Stones, Loki doesn't have a chance against Thanos. Yeah, to try and save Thor, that was the best way to immediately allow him to have a decade of movies worth of character growth, like in space of 5 minutes on screen. Yeah, but I know what you're saying, and I think it's like I felt it was a nod to Infinity War, but that chapter is closed. The Infinity Stones aren't going to be a factor anymore. But you know, that stuff happened. Yeah, yeah.
I think there's still like happened in that universe. I think that was just them sort of saying a story as they're like, okay, don't expect these to be the answer to everything in the future. So we're doing something else now.
We're getting rid of. Yeah. But they have other MacGuffins, like the time travel stuff. Easy MacGuffin, right? Also, like Loki says in his trial, like, I'm the victim here. The real criminals are the Avengers. They're the guys messing with time. And the dude's like, no, that's supposed to happen. So it feels like as long as you get the okay from above, you can do whatever you like. Yeah. Right? So you just got to get the okay from above, innit?
Exactly. Thank you guys for writing in on Patreon. You guys are awesome. Right. So now we're kicking over to our Discord comments.
What's the URL for that Patreon? I forget.
It's patreon.com/conversations.
Oh, that's cool. I'll remember that.
Great. And it's a great place to hang out. You know.
Can you get, like, I don't know, maybe exclusive content for as little as $1 a month?
You know what? You can get a whole podcast exclusive, the Conversation podcast.
That's really good.
And if you're into gaming, if you're a legend, then you can get the True Gamer podcast early every week. It's fucking great.
That is a serious deal there.
And then you get to be known as a top bro, a true gamer, all this good stuff right there.
Gaming.
That's right.
Should we head over to Discord?
Let's head over to Discord, bro.
So __ sucks says,
yes,
you did make it in time. That was good. And that's all he wrote.
That's all he wrote. Thanks, bro, for that nice detailed comment right there. Diogo, your essays are great.
It gave me some Fat Control vibes with the TVA and the Time Warp stuff. Yeah, I can see that.
Another agency.
Glad that Loki was shown his full timeline and he's sort of on the path to become the Loki we saw in Ragnarok, Infinity War. Yeah. I do have some questions, though. The TVA said the Avengers were meant to time travel. I see he's bringing it up as well.
Here we go.
And that this Loki was from the real timeline. So doesn't that counter EG's time travel rule? Going into the past creates a new timeline. Otherwise, it was a time loop where they were always in 2012 and Loki always escaped. So there are multiple universes, right? Every time you time travel, you create a new universe. But if that time travel is supposed to happen, so is that universe. Yes. That's how I read that, because I thought the same thing.
Yeah, and also, you have to also give the Endgame rule, time travel rule, a bit of a rest, because it didn't make sense even within the Endgame.
Not even close.
So I was just sort of like, okay, you wanted to do time travel. Yeah. That's just because what I left as right there.
Right, because the Thanos they defeat isn't their Thanos.
Exactly. And Cap doesn't come back at the end. It doesn't make any sense.
None at all.
Nothing works, okay? So just be like, hey, it was a cool movie. Cool.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it's just a movie.
Yeah.
1 second. If the Avengers were meant to time travel and get the Tesseract and fail, then Loki was always meant to grab it and escape, so he's not in the wrong. Yeah.
Tell that to the timekeepers.
Right. Yeah, your beef was with the timekeepers.
Buggers.
There's some epic contradictions with the TVA's logic, probably because time travel is confusing. I also think that's going to come up.
Yeah.
Right, because it's kind of arbitrary of who's allowed to do what.
That's the thing. So that's when it comes to any sort of like governing agency, even like police and whatnot. There's like, okay, we have these rules. This is correct and this is right. But then there's always people where it's like, but that rule doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. What about to that?
Or
and then
like
they have these people that just execute it without prejudice whatsoever.
Like someone broke a rule, but they didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
Yeah, but you broke the rule. We prosecute you breaking the rules. Yeah, but I didn't do anything wrong. You're supposed to. Right.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing, which is unjust. And I think that's what one of the things that helps us empathize with Loki immediately, where it's like, yeah, technically he didn't do anything wrong, and nothing he did, like, he escaped. You should be allowed to escape.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be illegal to try to escape.
Yeah.
Right? So, anyway,
there you go.
They also confirmed no multiverse timeline exists. Epic Marvel shooting that down again and again. I bet people will still think one exists. However, it does seem that they're setting up for that to break and have many timelines and universes. That's weird. I don't know, man.
No,
Time stuff's weird.
I think they're gonna definitely do it. They're trying to keep you in suspense, trying to be like, yeah, this is not gonna happen. Oh, it happened. Oh.
Yeah. By the way, there's an epic cameo in WandaVision.
Yeah. By the way, guys. Yeah. Epic.
I
cameo
feel like that sums
right
up the way Disney actually does stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a feeling that maybe at the end Loki would just reset again, leading his life without knowing of the show. However, the multiverse threat sort of makes me think otherwise. Also, is this Loki perhaps Lady Loki? What? How can he be Lady Loki? We know this is Tom Hiddleston.
Exactly.
This is Detective Loki, bro.
This is Detective Loki. By the way, I don't know if you
know.
noticed.
Oh my god, it's him again! Next comment, epic theory.
Oh,
what
here
if
we go.
Mobius strip, time loop, yeah, I said that, is the cause for Loki diverging, as in evil Loki.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's why I think he is so, yeah. Since there was a mysterious person messing with the timeline, Mobius recruits Loki to save it, but it looks like But it causes Loki to frick up the timeline even more, making Mobius recruit Loki. Oh, you think he and Mobius are in the time loop?
Right, I think so. I think that could be a thing.
But he exists outside of time. Mobius exists outside of time.
Yeah. All it takes is for them. Yeah, but Loki doesn't. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
It's a confusing one. Time. This is what happens when you mess with time.
And then Sean. Yeah. What Diogo said.
Nice
Thank
and
you,
concise.
Sean, great comment.
Sean is always the best when it comes to this sort of stuff. HSOJ, Josh. No, I'm reading it correctly. Okay, I'm trying to accurately correct.
I think
say
you
people's
mean
names.
Scrappy.
Scrappy. No, Josh says. First off, wow. That episode was great. That episode gave me so many theories that I'm definitely going to disappoint myself, but oh well. When they were first investigating the killings, I was thinking it was Mephisto. The main theory from the episode of the part of the show where that animator told us exactly what was going to happen in Doctor Strange 2. This is mainly because they said they were going to remove the chance of the multiverse. If there were too many variations, then it would create a multiverse of madness or something. Then they go on to explain that it would cause another multiverse war. So my theory is that Doctor Strange will have to stop that somehow. But they might be reaching. They might be reaching, but overall, great start to the series.
Disney reaching? Nah,
never, bro. Nah. Never. They're never reaching too far.
CA 56.
56.
I'm writing this while watching the show, even though I normally write it after. About 20 minutes in, I already love the show. The advert kind of thing reminds me of the Umbrella.
The
animated show.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah. The scene where Agent Mobius shows Loki through the memories was my favorite, especially the plane robbery. Yeah, that was cool. Also, they have a box of freaking Infinity Stones. So Tony, Natasha, Vision, and Gamora died for practically nothing. Shit.
But no.
Shit.
But if they went, no, I can't.
Well,
the TVA are the bad guys. Clearly, they're Hydra.
I told you, confirmed. I've been calling this since WandaVision season 1, episode 1.
Took 3 shows, but we got there, guys.
Finally. Wait, the second we time skip into a Hydra thing, I'm gonna lose my shit.
You're gonna be like paper, like.
Tom Hiddleston did an amazing job going through all the emotional scenes, and only 6 minutes of credits, which is a lot better than Falcon and the Winter Soldier or WandaVision.
There are a lot of people working on. Oh shit! There are a lot
these
of people working
productions
on
take
these
a lot
shows.
of people. Yeah.
You know, you can't even say anything. It's rude to say it.
When I start the show and I'm like, oh, sick! It's 52 minutes long. Yes, and then 41 minutes in, it finishes.
There was even a section at the end of like I think it was like 3 minutes of black, just nothing.
Why do they also sometimes in like WandaVision they did this and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the post credits scene happens twice?
Yes.
What? Why? Anyway, yeah, I totally agree. And for me, the highlight of the show was Tom Hiddleston going through those emotional scenes, particularly once he's crushed about having seen all the Infinity Stones, realizing he's like an insect, and then going and watching his full future, and then capped it off when he says that, look, I don't enjoy hurting people. Yeah. It's a tactic used by the weak to instill fear. Yeah. You know, like that section for me was a highlight. One of the highlights of Marvel. It was really good. I loved it, and Loki's he's a fan favorite. We all simp over Tom Hiddleston anyway. Good thing that it's Pride Month, because look, I'm saying if you wouldn't bang that man, you're gay.
Exactly. You know? You're gay if you don't want to bang him.
Facts.
Don't be gay. Don't be gay. Wait, hold on a second.
I feel like we've misunderstood Pride here.
We've completely misunderstood Pride Month. Don't listen to us. My favorite part of this whole episode was actually where he slaps the collar on the angry woman and then's like makes her go back and forward.
Just to be clear, your favorite scene of the movie was when the white man slaps Connor on a black woman.
Exactly. Take that quote, put that on the internet, cancel Eddie.
I hope we have one of those times.
Oh God!
I gotta say that was very satisfying.
Was really funny.
And she's so angry. This is one of the things I like. I think the Tom Hiddleston Owen Wilson relationship is going to be so interesting, because I don't think he's just a paper pusher, but I do think she's being set up to just be angry lady whose response is always deal with force because I'm a badass.
Yeah.
You know. Also, it'd be cool to see if she gets some character growth as well. Because right now they probably will.
But we had the same feeling about fucking the bad guy in WandaVision, the douchey McDouche. We're like, oh, he's totally going to redeem him at the end, but he didn't, and we're happy about that.
I already feel like she has more character than him.
Yeah, already, right?
Yeah, because it feels like she is actually interested in preserving, like...
Suddenly she pulls out a white vision. Oh my God!
Oh God, no!
Our final comment from BN... and he says, so I really like the concepts they're going for. Execution is a bit sloppy. Not sure why Marvel have a thing for hiring bad actors to play small, minor characters in their Disney shows.
Wait, who's the bad character?
But
I'll be honest, for right now, I didn't see that. I've caught, like, dodgy or not great actors in other things. But for right now, I haven't... Maybe I have to watch the first episode again.
The problem is, it's Ben. It's Ben the nun fucker.
Do you know what?
He makes jokes and like misdirections about everything. So I'm waiting for the bit where he's like, "Yeah, Owen Wilson is terrible." I'm like, "Oh,
yeah, Owen Wilson. Why get such a small guy for a bit part?"
He got us. He got us there. And he continues to go, "But overall, I'm pretty good, and I look forward to more." And Owen Wilson do be pretty epic in this. Okay, so he does that. He's not.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you so much.
It's going to be. I do think it'll be an interesting show. I think one of the things that's going to be really fun is seeing these like high tech looking stormtrooper dudes with a dude in a suit, you know, like, but in 1500s France, right? Of like this super weird juxtaposition. But the other thing is they don't care. They don't have to be secret because they just delete this timeline anyway.
Yeah.
So that will be interesting to see. Anyway, I'm enjoying it, man.
I'm really enjoying it. Out of all the shows, I do like the way it starts. There's a bit less mystery than, say, like WandaVision. With WandaVision, you were like, what the hell is going on? We had all of this. But I like it when people explain the world, the universe that they're in, but explain it well, and it makes sense. I was like, this... I like the fact that there's a whole agency, this TVA thing. I like that they delete timelines. It's a really cool concept. It could get messy down the line. We'll see how that goes.
I do think the show will end up being more serious than we think. At the minute, it looks like, and I do hope for a majority, it is kind of our breather show, which was WandaVision was actually really intense. Had these moments of real sinister energy, like anytime the screen time, we had that break. Falcon and the Winter Soldier was, while excellent, quite serious all the way through. And it feels like this is our like, oh yeah, that's right, Loki's funny, this is fun, this is superheroes show.
Yeah.
But I do think there will be serious moments in it, and it will deal with something serious at the end.
Yeah.
But I would like to keep that Loki kind of buddy cop, lighthearted, comedic relief thing going, because I think we need it. Infinity War and Endgame were intense. WandaVision at the end, oh my god, like intense. Falcon and Winter Soldier, they dealt with some real serious stuff, and I think we need it. We need a break and to remember that these things are, that superheroes are fun and Loki's hilarious, you know?
Yeah.
And then to deal with something important.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's the end of episode 1 of Loki Streamcast. Thank you all for joining us. We'll catch you guys again next week, same time, Thursday, different time, I should say, maybe a little bit later, like 1 or 2 hours, but Thursday next week means you'll have a whole day and a half to send in all your comments, stuff like that. Watch the episode straight away. Come over to the Discord server or Patreon, wherever you guys can, and leave your comments for the next one.
Also, watch our finale episode of The Witcher. Come on, why haven't you watched that yet?
Why haven't you done that yet?
Why are you letting us down?
And if you're gonna tell me that it's not up again,
ridiculous. Just look harder, man.
Look harder. Sleep faster. I love that quote.
Hurry up and wait.
Hurry up and wait. Okay. All right, guys. We'll catch you all in the next one, bro. Catch you in the next one. Out. The God of Mischief.
Why do you always ruin it?
Tesseract out of nowhere. Huh?
I hate you so much.
Or that ice cube that he makes out of nowhere for in Thor 1.
No. No. All my nose.